Hello and welcome all the viewers who have joined. Ibrahim, Samire, Win, Hewitt, DR, Saleh, Ashu, Chapier, Hudan, Kibrom, Yunus. Welcome all of you who have joined, viewers. Rahil, Misgabe, Noor Ahmed Ali, DR. I remember several names now because almost every week I try to be live with you. Nitin Varia, welcome Nitin Varia. Elias Eol, welcome Johnny Man. Johnny Man, do you think Egypt could help Tigray? Why would Egypt help Tigray? Uh, to weaken Ethiopia, to weaken Ethiopian government, you mean to say? Well, I don't think that Egypt can be a big player in Tigray. Egypt might intervene through Sudan, but Egyptian interference in Ethiopia through Tigray, it's a far cry for me, I think. Mendafro Birhane, hi Mendafro Birhane. Gashala Gunaire, how about Somalia? Yes, I'll talk about Somalia after a few minutes. Good to see you, buddy, says Mendafro. Mendafro, welcome. Kibrom Ababe, Tigray war is close to Mekele. What is your view? $1 million question, perhaps the most important question. War is getting closer to Mekele. What does it mean? We'll talk about it. When Hewitt, if Egypt helps Sudan, yes, Egypt is already helping Sudan. Egypt has issued very strong statements in support of Sudan. Some secret support might be underway, though we haven't seen open, explicit Egyptian military support for Sudan. We haven't seen that. But at least diplomatically, Egypt is backing Sudan. Matty Stratford, Republic of Tigray is winning. Ebenezer Edanom, thank you for your videos. Thank you, Ebenezer. Shalomo Bentasanot, hello. Hello, Shalomo. Hi, good afternoon. Someone says, I can't read the username. Freehood Amin says something which has been auto deleted. Johnny Man, how much amazed are you by the TPLF? Yusuf Siddiq Sayyed, hello. Hello, Yusuf. Zami Chail, hello. Do you think TPLF is making contact with Sudan? I don't think so. Sudan is not interested in backing TPLF up till now. Esmirom, Gabrekidon, hi, Esmirom. Fra 16 Etho, hello man, hello Fra 16 Etho 6. Usman Ahmed, you are the best reporter on Tigray. Thank you, Usman. Shifafa Sami, is TPLF close to Mekele? Yasin Usman, welcome, one of my regular viewers. Salam Ari, one of my another regular viewers. Daniel Tafre, will Sudan join forces with TPLF? Samuel Kefle, what do you think about the position of TPLF right now? Haley, like Biro Abbas is on. Salam, Biro Abba Sesu. Johnny Man, could UNSC intervene? UNSC hasn't done anything solid so far. Tammy Fisher, Tigrigna, do you think they will start negotiations? No, they won't. Well, let's start talking a little. Thank you all of you have joined. Ashu, Minshu, users are joining, viewers are coming. Let's start by talking about Tigray. Mekele, two viewers asked questions about Tigray, about Mekele. RBC has also joined. Daud, Fesiha. Well, fighting is very close to Mekele. I updated you in two videos about the proximity of fighting to Mekele viewers. Near Samre, Gejet, Chile, fighting has been reported. So fighting is definitely coming closer to Mekele. Now, people in Mekele can hear sounds of rocket firing, artillery firing. Just 50, 60 kilometers away from Mekele, fighting is going on. It does not mean, though, that TPLF is preparing a full-scale offensive on Mekele. I personally believe, I might be wrong, I personally believe that TPLF, Tigray fighters would not like to storm Mekele. Mekele cannot be taken by carrying out a large-scale offensive because that would lead to collateral damage which TPLF Tigray has been trying to avoid. If you remember, viewers, TPLF Tigray fighters retreated from urban areas to avoid collateral damage, to protect themselves against drones, and to keep their support base, their civilians, in their favor. I don't think that Tigray fighters would like to storm Mekele. They will take their time. They will definitely storm Mekele one day, but not in the coming days or even coming weeks as well. I think they would like to, Fashionista says, I like your channel. Thank you, Fashionista. They are getting closer to Mekele inch by inch, and they will try to ensure that from eastern side, western side, and from northern side, and lastly from southern side, Alamata side as well, they would like to secure their positions on all sides before going for Mekele. And so far their positions are not very strong on southern side towards Alamata, then to the eastern side as well, and to some extent to northern side as well, to the Vakro side as well. They are not in a strong position. They are getting closer to Mekele, but it will take some time. They won't storm Mekele in the coming days. Peace for All is commenting and his comments are getting auto-deleted. Yasin Usman, Tesfai Dula, what? Tesfai Dula says, that is your illusion, bullshit. Go to Sudan, cry for taken territory by Egyptian. Well, interestingly, viewers, Egypt is also in control of some territories which Sudan claims as Sudanese territories. But Sudan hasn't taken any action against Egypt because Egypt is in stronger position than Ethiopia. Sudan took control of Al-Fashaga because Ethiopian central government launched war in Tigray. Central government was weakened. Ethiopian federal forces were preoccupied in Tigray. That is why Sudan took advantage of the situation. Sudan cannot make this move against Egypt, though Sudan does have claims over some territories which are being controlled by Egyptian forces. But since Egypt is stronger now than Ethiopia, that is why Sudan hasn't taken any action against Egypt. John Jackson, welcome. Brock Nirayo, Dagi Hele, Daud Faseha, Silam Eri. Do you think TPLF, non-state actor, can buy military attack drones? Interesting question. He's asking, do you think that TPLF can buy drones? Well, viewers, just purchasing drones is not enough. You need skilled operators. Drone is not like a toy. Drone is operated by skilled operators, especially combat drones. They are costly piece of equipment, and you need training. You need skilled operators. They are mostly operated through GPS or through laser guided systems. So it takes time for operators to get training about flying drones, about carrying out strikes using drones. So even if TPLF succeeds in getting drone, it will take some time for training their operators. Hapisha, Sikarat, why are 90% of Amhara? Kirbada Elam, you are Wayne Junta. Well, Hussein Noor, welcome Hussein Noor. I would like to answer another question which was sent to me by a user, and he asked, is there any effective anti-drone system? Well, viewers, even the best of air defense systems are not effective against drones. S-300 Russian air defense system, S-400 Russian air defense system, Patriot, Hawk, short range, long range air defense systems, they are not effective against drones. World is working how to counter drones. Israeli air defense system, Iron Dome, I think, it's a little effective against drones, against combat drones. Otherwise, most countries don't have any equipment to counter drones. Experiments are underway, and we have seen several experiments, but we haven't seen so far an effective anti-drone system installed in any country of the world. John Jackson, I would like to just request you, I would request you please ask one question. One question, one viewer. It would be easy for me to reply to your question if you ask just one question per viewer. Mickey, Daud, Faseha, do you think Tigray people are supporting TPLF, TDF? Well, Tigray people are in a very miserable condition. They don't have food, they don't have water. Tigray militias are helping TPLF, Tigray fighters. In a previous video, if you remember, I informed you about types of Tigray fighters, Tigray forces. It's not that just Tigray defense forces are fighting Ethiopian National Defense Forces. Some local militias are also helping TDF, Tigray Defense Forces. Dagi, Hele, Yasin, Usman, RBC, Sprint, OG, TDF are running over people with tanks. I haven't seen any such development that TPLF or ENDF are running over people with tanks. Valiba, PLC, what's the current situation? About what? Joker, Shifafa, Isa Barak. Do you think Egypt will enter this war openly? No, Egypt won't enter this war openly. Egypt would like to carry out its activities behind the scenes, and the best option for Egypt is Sudan. Isa Barak, Habisha, Skirt, Addis Ababa is Fenfene. Yes, Oromos, OLF, OLA calls Addis Ababa Fenfene. Kibrom Hagos, do you think TPLF took control of Mekelle? They won't launch an offensive on Mekelle. I replied just a few minutes ago. 2050, is Abiy a war criminal? Well, that would be decided by some court. Merga Tafa, do you think Turkey sell drones to Ethiopia? Well, today I heard from somewhere that Sudan was also in talks with Turkey for drones, and some sources are claiming that Ethiopia is also in talks with Turkey for drones, but no confirmation so far, viewers. Joker, whom do you think UAE left Assab Gada Forum asks, yes, UAE left Assab. UAE does not want to be seen as part of conflicts in the Horn of Africa, in Yemen. And in Yemen, because things are changing, some sources are claiming that in the coming days, there might be peace in Yemen and negotiations are underway. That is why perhaps UAE has decided to vacate Assab military base in Eritrea. Mickey, about would you tell me about? I could not read the entire question. Shu Tasefe, do you think Turkey will support Eritrea? Yes, interesting question. Will Turkey support Ethiopia or not? Well, firstly, Ethiopia has requested Turkey for support against Sudan, not against Tigray forces, Tigray fighters. Turkey would never involve itself in Tigray. As regards Turkey's involvement in Ethiopia Sudan dispute, it cannot be ruled out, but so far we haven't seen any confirmation from Turkish sources, from Turkish officials. Munna Saleh, when will international community act? International community is definitely slow, but it has its limitations. Almost all conflicts which are underway in the world right now, we know obvious that international community is not effective. UN is not effective. These bodies have been hijacked by bigger powers, and bigger powers have defenses. We saw in Myanmar that China is backing the military there, US is backing political parties there. So international community is always divided on conflicts. That is why perhaps international community does not take any solid unified stance on conflicts in different parts of the world. Basin Hele, John Jackson. John Jackson says, you never ask my question. You never answer my question. John Jackson, what's your question? I'm here to answer. Please ask again. John Jackson, I am waiting for your question. You said you never answer my questions. I try my best to answer all the questions, but sometimes do you expect TPLF to win at last? I don't expect TPLF or ENDF to win in the short term. It will take time, viewers. It will take lots of time to find a convincing winner, if winner is the right word, in this war. This war will go on if there are no negotiations. OLA advance in Oromia. John Jackson, I cannot read your question because so many viewers have joined. They are asking questions at the same time. They are commenting as well, asking questions as well. Well, OLA is advancing, no doubt about that, but we cannot say that it's advancing at a very alarming pace for ENDF, for the Ethiopian government. They have been advancing for decades, but we haven't seen any considerable progress by OLA. What is impressive about OLA is that they make claims, but they always back claims with evidence. They share videos, they share pictures. So their claims are not superficial or empty. They have this system that they always have something, some evidence to back their claims. But we can't say that they are heading towards taking control of Addis Ababa. No, they're far away from Addis Ababa. Current situation in Tigray football, HD asks. Let's talk about current situation in Tigray. Well, viewers, when ENDF launched second phase of its offensive on Tigray, it was expected that S. Miram says hi. It was expected that TDF would be pushed back further into mountains. But interestingly, after that we saw intense fighting, and Tigray fighters started inflicting losses on ENDF after the start of second phase by ENDF. Central Tigray once again became the center of fighting, but fighting started getting closer to Mekele. Fighting which was going on near Endabogna, near to the south of Shere, it started coming close to Samre, to Geje, to Chile, towards Mekele. So ENDF's second phase, its second offensive on Tigray, has led to TDF, Tigray Defense Forces, having some advantage, I believe. Now Tigray Defense Forces are moving towards southern Tigray from central Tigray. They are spreading their influence. So this is the current situation for me, that Tigray fighters are advancing to southern Tigray from central Tigray. Dagi Hale, Mbisa Nile, welcome all of you. Michael Berhe, T. Michael. T. Michael asks, why is Eritrea denying military presence in Tigray? Of course, because of international community. If you acknowledge that your forces are here, at some point this statement can be used against you in international courts. That is why no one is going to admit that Eritrean forces are in Tigray. Heftom Tigray, hi, hi. Hassan Hassel, hello sir, hello Hassan. Faisal, Theo Birkot, hello, hello Theo Birkot, one of my regular viewers, regular participants of this live chat session. Ridwan joined, Yunus Zadeh, El Marathon. Do you expect Abiy Ahmed and Assayas to ICC? Not in near future, it will take some time. Monas Desta, hello, hello Monas. Bernard Nigo from Vancouver, Canada. Christopher Gartner, thanks for doing all of this coverage. Thank you, Christopher. Let's talk about Somalia a little, because two viewers asked questions about Somalia. Viewers, on Wednesday, a 14-member committee announced that political disputes had been resolved, and all the parties had agreed. They were close to signing an agreement. But after that, on Friday, opposition parties tried to take out a protest rally in Mogadishu. Central government was ready. It launched a crackdown. It did not allow opposition parties to hold protest rally. So political instability in Somalia persists, viewers. So far, political instability is there, and most experts believe that the political instability is there because both the sides are not sincere. Some critics accuse Farmajo that Farmajo is not interested in holding free and fair elections. And Farmajo's supporters claim that opposition parties, they are not interested in fair elections. They're not interested in negotiations as well. They want to just push Farmajo out of office. Whatever the situation, viewers, is, in my view, political instability is there, and so far there is no likelihood that it will be resolved in the coming days. Farmajo has very strong backing of the UN and the US as well, because US issued a very strong statement in support of Farmajo when opposition parties demanded establishment of an interim setup, and they demanded resignation of Farmajo. At that time, U.S. State Department issued a statement. U.S. State Department openly backed Farmajo. So Farmajo has very strong backing of the U.S. and the UN. That is why we saw on Friday that Farmajo forces launched a crackdown on uh, opposition leaders in Mogadishu. Someone says, you like instability more than anything. Well, I report on instability to find solution to instability. I don't like it. I don't want instability, but I try to pinpoint things and try my best to make people aware of instabilities. F work, stop the cap. Cap or crap? That remains to be seen. Basin Hille, what do you think the aim of the power outage in Tigray? Well, Ethiopian government blamed it on Tigray forces, Tigray fighters, that they carried out an attack on some transmission line which goes from Elamata to Mekele. I think the purpose of this attack was to show that interim government of Mekele is very weak, it's very vulnerable, and Tigray forces, Tigray fighters can attack any place, any time in Tigray. I don't think that Ethiopian federal government was behind this outage. My Tigray supporters won't like this comment, but I don't think that power outage was due to some act by Ethiopian government. I think it was an attack on the transmission line by TPLF-backed groups. Rajilo, Kalibti, welcome. Kalib is one of my regular viewers. He always gives input as well. Michael Milaku, who are your paymasters? Michael Milaku asks, who is my paymaster? Well, there is no master or paymaster for me. I am master of my own views. I believe in speaking the truth. It might hurt people, it might make you feel uncomfortable, because sometimes people are blinded by their loyalties, which I am not. Explain the definition of juntas. Definition of juntas: one political or military group which takes power and then remains in power by hook or by crook is called junta. For me, this is the definition. Matty Stratford, Saprinji, who do you support then? Interesting question. Someone says, who do I support? Well, my views on news YouTube channel is not about Tigray cause, about political instability in Somalia. The channel is about covering conflicts. The channel is about covering geopolitical developments. I will report on both the sides. I was reporting when Mekele, Aksom, Share, Elamata was being taken by ENDF. And back then, I was accused of being on the payroll of Abiy Ahmed. Now when Tigray forces are trying to fight back, I'm reporting. And now I'm on the payroll of TPLF. But I'll keep on reporting. This is what my job is. I report on conflicts. I report on things which are cause of conflict between nations and groups. Rogelino Lozano, welcome. Rogelio Lozano. Matty Stratford, you have asked several questions. Please let others ask as well. Malkitube, David Tobias, what is ENDF's tactics against guerrilla war? ENDF's tactics against guerrilla war. Yes, interesting question. I would like you to ask such questions which are about strategy. Well, it's not easy to adopt a strategy against guerrilla warfare. And the most important thing which you need to ensure against guerrilla warfare is collection of intelligence and use of modern technology like reconnaissance drones. You must be aware of the location, the preparations of your enemies against whom you are fighting guerrilla warfare. Drones are not operating in Tigray now. UAE has gone. Ethiopian drones have not been seen very frequently as well in Tigray in the past few days, viewers. So, human intelligence is also not available to ENDF. On the other hand, Tigray Defense Forces, they do have human intelligence. They have been in power in Tigray for decades. Local militias are on their side. So they do have human intelligence. They know the routes, the areas very well. On the other hand, ENDF is lacking several things, I think. They don't have human intelligence. They are not using their drones now. That is why they don't have any effective strategy to counter guerrilla warfare launched by TDF. Jimene Channel, Andre Wallace, Michael Eskedom, Umar Hassan. Michael, you've asked several questions. One of my regular viewers, Christopher Gartner, ZB. I advise you to do a job, useless person, ZB says. ZB, thank you for this advice. And TT, Salam Ari, there is recent news that drones are back on Amhara Ethio side. Salvatore, will US going to have action on Eritrea? Not in near future. Daniel, Abrisha, Salvatore, Isaac, Johannes Karestos, is TPLF's gain overwhelming ENDF's victories? Well, TPLF is starting to rebound. In my view, TPLF, Tigray forces are starting to rebound. They haven't retaken any key areas so far. They are starting to challenge the areas which are being controlled by ENDF. This coming week is very critical, I think. In this coming week, we'll know in which direction this war is going to go. Ethiopia for Ethiopians. You give good hope for TPLF supporters. I don't give hope or despair. I just Haman, TPLF down, Amhara militia down, everyone is down. Just Haman is up. Musi Tiklai, Ethiopia is going to hell. No one should go to hell. No country should go to hell. There must be peace in Ethiopia, Sudan, Somalia. Great people, great countries, but somehow unrest is on the rise. Michael Milaku, why you are against Ethiopia? Michael Milaku says, why am I against Ethiopia? Well, why would I be against Ethiopia? I am just reporting on what is happening, and I'm trying to make people aware of what is happening on ground. I'm reporting on Eritrea, reporting on Somalia, on Sudan, on Kenya, on Turkey, on Israel, on Iran. So, do you think I'm against all these countries? No, I'm just reporting on conflicts, on geopolitical developments. That is what my channel is about. Hudanem, Habisha Skirt, Addis 111100. Why is Russia supporting ENDF? How much support is being given by Russia to ENDF? Could someone elaborate? Daud Faseha, you asked so many questions. Do you think USA and UN final action? US and UN haven't taken any concrete action so far. David Tobias, have you heard? Now, gradually it is becoming difficult for me to read your comments and questions. Please, one user, 136 minutes have passed, and I feel just like I have just spent 2 minutes with you. Walid Khalid Jibrail, Haftom Tigray. My laptop is stuck. I'm trying to refresh it so that I can read your messages, your comments, your questions. Salvatore, will US going to have action on Eritrea if don't leave Ethiopia? US is not taking any action in Tigray or against Eritrea in coming days. US will put pressure upon Ethiopia, upon Ethiopian government. US will try to mediate some sort of talks between ENDF and TDF. US won't intervene directly in this area. US has withdrawn its forces from Somalia. Malket Ivano, what is Eritrea's tactics? What is their main goal to intervene in Tigray? Definitely, their main goal is to weaken TPLF. They want ENDF to have upper hand to take advantage of the situation. They want to weaken TPLF. TPLF is their die-hard rival. Jonas Volderage, Addis, Football HD. Well, at the end of today's live chat session, I would like to give you a roundup of this week, current week, what happened in this week, what is going to happen in the coming week. Amda Heftom, well, again, I would request please one viewer, one question. Amda asks how long this war would last. No one knows. Amda, no one knows how long this war would last. But this war is not going to end in the coming days or coming weeks. Amal's views, please answer my question. What is your question, Amal? Sam Gerbu, Ashnify Girme. What's up, man? I just subscribed to your channel. Ashnifa, thank you, Ashnifa. Someone said that Russia opposed Tigray conflict during discussion in the UN Security Council. Yes, I talked about that in a few minutes ago, that international community is always divided on conflicts. We saw that in Syria, we saw that in Libya, we saw that in Myanmar. They are always divided. That is why don't expect that Russia, China, America, France and UK, UAE, Saudi Arabia will take joint stand on Tigray. That won't happen. Sarah Abel, thank you for joining. Sam Gabru, Ragbe Halle, Tigray will win. Drake Servansky, Sprint, OG Sprint, you have asked several questions. He's saying, slow the chat down. How much slow can I make it? With coffee. Interesting name. Christopher Gartner, do you think this war could spread to southern states in Ethiopia? Well, the war won't spread to southern states. The war could spread to Eritrea, I think. TPLF would like to take this war to Eritrea. They would like to take revenge on Eritrea. If they are in stronger position, they would like to move towards Eritrea border, I think. I don't think they would like to move towards Amhara region or Sudanese region. But since Eritrea backed Ethiopian forces openly, TDF in future would try to take revenge on Eritrea. You will see that. Johannes Christos, Football HD, you are playing football for several minutes. You asked so many questions. You have scored several goals here. Please let others ask questions as well. Papio, Drake, Servansky, do you think the UN should get involved because they lifted the arms embargo on Eritrea in 2018? Yes, UN should be involved in Ethiopia, in Tigray. UN should be involved in several conflicts, but UN has its own limitations. And one of the most important limitations for the UN nowadays is funds, viewers. There is lack of funds for the UN. UN has withdrawn its peacekeeping mission from Sudan, from Darfur. And after that, situation in Darfur deteriorated. So UN has its limitations, and when UN decides to intervene in an area, there is need. Money is required for that. Huge sums of money is required for that. So how can UN work without money? And UN is facing shortage of funds. Noor Ahmed Ali says, good to some question. Amlivako Bekele, Kivai Mali, Straight Cash Homie, T. Michael, Michael S. Gidom, you have asked several questions. Why are so many foreign forces joining hands and participating in the killing of population made out? Michael S. Gidom says, why are so many forces joining hands in Tigray? Angosam Hedu, Ido Limacha, Emel's views. Emil asks, where do pro-TPLF media stand considering the repeated victories they claim and the return by TDF? Yes, Amel's views. Amel asks that since TDF is gaining victories, so where does ENDF-backed media stand? Well, media is divided on both sides. No side is covering this war honestly. It's not that just ENDF media is biased. Same is the case with Tigray media as well, TDF media as well. Sometimes they make huge claims which have no basis. And in the same way, ENDF says nothing is going on in Tigray. TDF says we have killed hundreds of thousands of soldiers. So truth is somewhere in between. Both the sides, both the media sides, they are trying to spread their propagandas. David Tobias, do you think that Sudan may give support to TDF? Sudan will give support to TDF if ENDF, Ethiopian forces, Amhara forces launched a full-scale offensive on Sudan. Elavano, Papio, Zenbake, tell us about East African water. Ruby, hi. Ruby, thank you for joining. You joined my first live chat session. You are a regular contributor. Thank you, Ruby. Alexa Riley, Abel Tiklai, Abdiziz the Great. Can you please highlight the use of drones in Tigray conflict? We have talked about that in previous chat sessions, in videos. Drones were used in Tigray, combat drones were used in Tigray. TPLF leaders have acknowledged, Mulugeta, then Getachew, they claim that drones made a difference, that after the introduction of drones by ENDF, Tigray forces had to retreat from urban areas. So drones did make a difference, and several military analysts are confirming that precision strikes were carried out in Tigray. And Ethiopia does not have the capability to carry out precision airstrikes. Ethiopian fighter jets, they cannot precisely hit areas. By precision strikes, I mean that suppose a car is moving on ground. Can an aircraft or a drone hit this moving car or not? If it can, it means that the drone or the aircraft has precision strike capability. Ethiopian fighter jets do not have this capability. But Ethiopia did carry out precision strikes in Tigray. How did that happen? It means drones were used. Drones, most probably UAE drones were used. And UAE drones, which are Chinese wing-long drones, they do have precision strike capability. Reportedly, according to some sources, Ethiopian forces were backed by UAE's wing-long drones, which carried out precision strikes in Tigray. But UAE denies, Ethiopia denies. Marco Alessandro 1212 sir, TPLF are nearing Mekele. I told you about that. I told you about that when no one was talking about that. Now you must have heard several analysts talking about that. But I informed you in advance about TPLF advancing towards Mekele. 48 minutes have passed. I think we should end this session now, live chat session. Sam Gabru, Egypt's not over until the fat lady sings. With coffee, do you have any information on Daniel Ibrahim, Papio, Sam Gabru, Johannes Christos, Jonas Weldele, Daniel Abraham. Viewers, let's wrap up this chat session. 48 minutes have passed and it was wonderful being with you, responding to your questions. I tried my best to answer, but sometimes it becomes almost impossible to read your comments and questions at the same time and then respond. Sprint OG, thanks. Silam Ori, thank you. Viewers, let me just now summarize ongoing week for you. Let me sum up the whole horn for you. Somalia, political instability there. Negotiations will be held in the coming days. Both the sides mistrust each other. Farmajo and opposition parties mistrust each other. So far, no consensus has been reached about next elections. Ethiopia Sudan, border conflict underway. Small attacks by Ethiopian militia members and Ethiopian forces are underway. Yesterday, an attack was carried out by Ethiopian fighters on Sudanese farmers. So small attacks are underway. Ethiopia has not launched a full-scale war on Sudan. In the next week, reportedly in South Sudan, high-level contact between Ethiopia and Sudan is expected. Though neither Ethiopia nor Sudan have confirmed about next week's meeting in South Sudan. But South Sudan's President Salva Kiir, his special envoy who visited Khartoum and Addis Ababa, he is claiming that in the next week negotiation would start in South Sudan, viewers. Thirdly, viewers, Tigray. In Tigray, TPLF, Tigray forces are bouncing back. Central Tigray is the power base of Tigray forces. From Central Tigray, TDF are moving eastwards. They are getting closer to Mekele. They are claiming to be inflicting losses on ENDF. And in the ongoing week, TPLF laid out 8 preconditions for talks for the resolution of Tigray conflict. Interestingly, no viewer asked any question about 8 preconditions laid out by Tigray TPLF viewers. These 8 preconditions are very important. And if you have a look at these 8 preconditions, viewers, TPLF is not asking for ceasefire. Ceasefire is not part of these 8 preconditions. That shows that TPLF Tigray forces are not as weak as is being claimed by ENDF. Secondly, viewers, Oromia. Two main political parties of Oromia, OLF, OFC, they have boycotted upcoming elections due to be held in June. So we might see political instability in Ethiopia as well. TPLF is on the run. OFC has boycotted. Then viewers, OLF has also boycotted. What would be the credibility of elections held without main political parties boycotting it? Important thing. Last important thing, in Benishangul Gumuz state, Ethiopian government is training militias to counter ethnic violence. If you remember, two ethnic massacres occurred in Benishangul Gumuz in Metakal zone in which Amharas were targeted, viewers. Now, instead of strengthening government forces, regional forces, Ethiopian government is training militias there. I personally think that Ethiopian government should strengthen its forces. It should not go for building militias in Benishangul Gumuz. It will lead to further instability in Benishangul Gumuz. That's it, viewers. Thanks for watching. 53 minutes have passed. It was wonderful talking to you. I tried my best to reply to your questions. Thank you, all of you. See you next week. Thank you, all of you.